Howdy, howdy, howdy. It's showtime. Welcome to all of y'all. Welcome to another Monday night of Cliff Notes Live. Welcome to the very last day of March of 2025, forever and ever. And tomorrow we start April. We start April Fools. We start April showers, Mayflowers, all that kind of stuff. Hope y'all are doing fantastic. Let me start off with a big old SKD 143. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love reality TV. I love all you guys that hang with me every Monday night, live and watching the replay as well. Thank y'all so much. What a great way to start the week off. Today, happy International Crayon Day. International Domestic, we'll call it International Crayon Day. I may have overdone a little bit with the crayons, but you know what? There's something special. I don't care how stressed you may be. And we saw some reality TV, some people stressed out, and I will talk about that. No matter how stressed you get, you can solve a lot of problems just by taking a coloring book and doing a little coloring with a crayon. I don't care how old you are. God, if they'd given us crayons and coloring books inside the Big Brother house, I may not have been a Picasso, but I would have had so much fun. That would have been fantastic. In fact, future Big Brother contestants, HOH basket, hey, ask for a coloring book. You will be the hit of the entire house. Yeah, it's just my opinion. Welcome to all of y'all. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to my channel, turning on notifications, and hitting that old thumbs up as well. And it is always appreciated. We're kind of in the off season for Big Brother. It's heating up. Got a little Big Brother news we'll talk about in a second. Certainly heating up, but once that happens, and I'm doing my daily recaps and all that, we'll have a lot of folks, we'll have a lot of videos and all that. So ahead of that, please consider subscribing to my channel. With all that being said, let me go out and see who's out here, and then we got a lot of reality TV and everything else to talk about. So we'll get right into it. All right, Big Jake 88, first one out there. Big Jake, how you, Sarah? Hope you're doing fantastic. Marilyn, get my mouse going. Marilyn Southern as well. Hey, Marilyn. Mark Taylor, Desiree Watts, Amanda, Jacqueline Newberry, Ma, howdy. Brian Hosterl, howdy to you, sir, as well. Michelle Moore, let's see all these names out here. Karen Hummer, howdy, Karen. Michelle, did I mention your name? Hunter Green, hey, how are you doing, Hunter? I saw your name posted on a rodeo post, I think, here not too long ago. Let's see, Colleen as well. Paul Long, howdy, Paul. Kennedy Franken, how are you doing, Kennedy? I hope you're doing fantastic. Chaz, Wyatt, Garrett, Wyatt, howdy. Andy W, I love seeing this out here. Let's see, Paul, let's see, we got that. And I think, Misfire. I didn't want to forget you, Misfire. I hope you're doing fantastic as well. Amy Bonner and Tracy Muck and Fuss. And I think we'll call it about there. Lots of folks out here. It's incredible. Between work and trying to keep up with reality TV, every time I finish up one episode, one TV series, another one comes and takes its place. It's a fun time of the year. I spend so much time watching TV. Not that I don't do a lot of other stuff as well, but certainly it's fun. The golden age of reality TV in some ways, right? And we're all right in the thick of it. All right, let's start off with a few conversation. We got Survivor. We got Amazing Race. We got Deal or No Deal. So many shows to talk about. So I'll get your thoughts, and then I'll throw a few of my topics out as well as we go through with this thing. All right, Mark Taylor. Do you think David spoiler alert, if you haven't seen any of these shows, we're going to be talking a lot of spoilers. Just in case you're new to the show, we will start off with Deal or No Deal Island. We will be talking about what happened on the series finale, so be warned before we get into it. All right, Mark Taylor saying, do you think David on Deal or No Deal Island was lucky or good in his win? He was dang lucky. You know what? I get it. And hindsight, I don't know. Who can fault someone when he won so much money? What? I don't remember how much it was now. It was 3.8 or something. Incredible amount of money. The max he could get was what, 5.8? And was it 2.9? It's about half of that, somewhere around there. He won a lot of money. I mean, first of all, props to him. He did a great job. He's just Australian Survivor, one of the Survivor GOATs worldwide. And yet he managed to keep that a secret. He managed to work with Parvati, and yet he was there at the end. She wasn't. Seemed like a nice guy. I don't think anyone really disliked him. He just seems like a very nice individual and played a fantastic game. I mean, how can you not look at him and see him as a threat? And yet he made it work. So props completely to getting to where he was. I of everyone there, I absolutely have no problem with him and thinking he deserved it. As far as the way he played at the end, yes, he walked away with the big money. So how can you fault him for it? And yet I will. There is such a what he had at one point, what, $1.9 million. There is such a difference between going home with nothing or $5 or whatever it was versus 1.9 million. So much difference between those two as opposed to the difference between 1.9 and 2.9 million or whatever. It does not make sense to me that you wouldn't have taken the money when you did, or when you had the option to walk away with almost $2 million, if I recall the number. Uh, if I'm on that show and I'm faced with $2 million and I don't take that money and I walk home with next to nothing, I, as much as I say, don't ever have regrets when you go on these shows and do reality TV and all that. If I leave that kind of money on the table when I could have taken it, I'm never forgiving myself for not doing more as far as helping my family out and retirement and everything else. I just thought it was incredible that he didn't take that money because, yeah, 2.9 versus 3.9, that's an extra $1 million. But in the grand scheme of things, is an extra $1 million when you're already talking about that much money going to affect your life that much more differently? No, not at all compared to walking home with nothing. I was yelling at the TV set. Now, it made for fantastic TV. I'll give them that. And for all I know, there were producers saying, hey, if you stick with it, you may be good. I don't have any reason to think that. I don't think anyone gave him hints or anything like that. But certainly from the producer's standpoint, it made it that much more exciting for him to just keep saying no deal, no deal, no deal, right? But if that was one of my family members, I would have been yelling even harder through the TV. So no, as much as I loved the way he played the game getting up to that point, I thought he was a little too risky at the end, and he just got dang lucky. So trust me, if I ever go on that show and they get over about $1.5 million, I'm hitting that old button. It could be $20 million maximum, but once I get over $1 million or so, if there's a chance I'm walking away with nothing, I'm claiming that money. I'm not looking for Elon Musk level monetary funds here. I'm looking for enough to take my wife out for a very nice dinner every once in a while. I think for $1 million, I could probably take her to a couple of nice dinners. So yeah, I was probably not a huge fan of the way he played against the banker, but he made it work. So how can you fault him? It was exciting though, wasn't it? I'm ready for another season of it. Somehow they took 2 seasons. And for a show that's basically based on just random selection, they've added a lot of strategy and made it exciting. So yeah, good job, Deal or No Deal Island. I enjoyed every single episode. I do think Dixon, I've talked to him. He reached out to me and I said howdy and welcome to reality TV family and all that. I'm going to try to get him on one of these days. We'll get the inside scoop now that we saw even that happen. I want to find out how intense, how stressful it really was for everyone watching David playing that game. They had to be going crazy on there. So we may do that here before too long. All right, let's see what else we've got on here. Chaz is saying, what's the best April Fool's joke you've done or had done to you? And Tracy Muckenfuss said, ever pull any good April Fool's jokes? I was thinking about that today when I realized it's April Fool's. Here's my problem. I'm considered by my family to be such a prankster. No one buys anything I do on April Fool's Day. I spend the whole day having to say, no, I'm serious. I really do, plan to do this. I really did get a call for this. Because everything, I could say anything. I could say the sky is blue and they're going to go outside to see if a dust storm turned it red or something. I mean, it's hard for me to sneak in a prank on April Fool's Day. Over the years, yeah, I did some. I remember, I don't know, telling kids that they'd announced our kids that that because there'd been a snow day the month before, that they were going to have to go to school till 8:00 at night, or go to school on, I think it was on a Saturday, April Fool's one day. I said, oh yeah, they announced there's an extra day of school to make up for the snow day. And I remember as a kid one time, my brother and I taking water and using some food coloring to make it look like soda, and then putting that back in the cabinet and watching watching my dad take a drink of that. And so, yeah, we did some of those. I do remember one time we were very desirous. Is that a word? My dad was a smoker. We really wanted him to stop smoking. And somewhere my brother and I got a hold of some little things. They look like grains of rice that were exploding cigarettes. And you would stick those things inside a cigarette. And once someone lit up, once it got to that, it was like a firecracker, would blow up in their face. And we just, oh, well, there you go. So we put those in some of my dad's cigarettes. He actually had one blow up and get some tobacco in his eyes. And let's just say that particular prank, that particular April Fool's Day joke, didn't go over as well as we thought it would. Props to my dad. The day my daughter was born, his first grandchild, at that point he said, "I'll never smoke again because I want to be around as long as possible for my grandkids." And he never did. Quick, cold turkey, and that was the end of it. But yeah, we did a few jokes here and there, but I don't do as much April Fool's jokes as I do pranks the rest of the year when I'm around family and all of that. Sharon's kind of putting the kibosh on that. She said, "No more of that stuff. I'm not buying anything that you do. I'm not tasting anything that you fix on April Fool's Day. I'm not sniffing anything where you can push my face down into." She knows better. So, yeah, I don't do that much. I'll wait and see what everyone else does. I shouldn't even go online because everyone has their new April Fool's jokes, and some of them are funny. Most of them are just like, yeah, okay. And of course, this day and age, how do you know what's not true or what is true and isn't true? It's crazy. Some of the headlines have been for the past few years in this world. So who knows? I am excited to see what April Fool's pranks other people play starting tomorrow. We'll see. I'll just go about business and try not to get anyone too upset. We'll see. All right, let's see what else we got here. Tyson 1000. Hey, Tyson. He played one of the best games this season. Is this David? Yeah, he deserves the money. Chaz says he won 10 million plus $1. Was it 10 million? Was it that much? That's a lot of money. That's a whole heck of a lot of money. It's like Beast Games, Mr. Beast kind of money. I didn't realize it was that much. I stand by my position that once you get over $1 million or $2 million, that's more important than whatever you make beyond that point of time. But what am I to say? I'd like to think I'm a risk taker in a lot of things. When I was in the Big Brother house, we took a little bit of a risk by sending Tommy out instead of Holly. We felt like it made it a little tougher for Nicole and I to get to a final 3 or final 2 position. But we also thought that if we did that, the chances of one of us winning the final game was so much better if we were in a final 3 versus Holly as opposed to a final 3 versus Tommy. So we took some risk there, but that's a different level when you're potentially walking away from $2 million. I watched a guy on Instagram. It's historical. It's not just recent. It's been 15, 20 years. A guy who cashed out his entire life savings, took $560,000, $600,000, went and bet it all on a roulette wheel. I think he bet on red, and it came up red number 7. So he doubled his money. Well, he was happy. I'd be happy too. But I realized a long time ago, I'm not great at gambling because I hate losing more than I enjoy winning. So yeah, but some people are different than that. And I guess David is one of them. Not me. I would have walked home with $2 million and not thought twice about it. All right, let's see. Michelle Moore saying, any watching of American Idol? We used to watch American Idol religiously. I mean, that was our go-to show. So many, Carrie Underwood, just so many people from American Idol that now you just know their names and so much fun. We kind of transitioned away from American Idol to The Voice. Blake Shelton fans, and just we started watching that a little bit more in American Idol, and we continue to this day. I haven't really watched American Idol in a few years. I kind of like the format of The Voice just a little more, where you just hear their voice and then they battle and on. We enjoy it. So yeah, no, I haven't watched American Idol, but I'll check it out. Now I do have a recommendation for y'all. Now, if you're on Instagram or Twitter, you've probably seen it, or X, and have y'all seen? I think it's maybe The Voice Norway battle, duo battle, or battle of the block, or whatever they call it, between 2 women that are singing Best Part by, who does that? Her and David Caesar, I think, is the original song. Incredible. I've Sharon's gotten tired because I've been playing that every time I get in the car. I'm playing it on Spotify. Not even the original. I've been playing the version that was on Norway's The Voice. It's just a beautiful song. I love that kind of music. It reminds me of Nora Jones and some other folks. Check it out if you haven't already listened to it. But the best part on Spotify, just incredible, beautiful song. So there you go. My music DJ recommendation here. I really like it. I wish I've told you before, I'd love to have a channel that does nothing but Big Brother for all the different countries that have it. Throw in traders as well. Maybe throw in The Voice also. I think it's always fun watching other countries and their musical performances and all of that. Maybe watching more Norwegian Voice than I'd planned on after watching that little snip from social media. All right, Misfire is saying, thoughts on Joe and Eva's emotional moment on Survivor. All right, guys. My emotional moment for the entire week of reality TV was watching that on Survivor. For those of you who don't know, it was not the reward challenge. It was the immunity challenge. And it was, so whoever loses is going home. And they had at one point in this challenge, I know most of y'all see it, but they had at one point in the challenge, the final part of the competition was each person on a team had to roll a ball down a little zigzaggy kind of maze. At the end, there was a hole that you had to land one of the 4 balls into one of those holes. Each person had to do one. You couldn't let someone else do it for you. Eva, and remember, Eva's on the spectrum. She considers herself to be have autism and is on the spectrum. And she was the last person left. I think Joe's team had already won, so they were safe. Everything was riding on Eva being able to get this last ball in the hole. And she's trying, and it just keeps popping out of this track and isn't doing the way she's supposed to. Now, first of all, can I say, if I'm on that show on Survivor and I see that the end result is rolling a ball down a little table like that, I'm feeling pretty happy, pretty confident about my chances. That would be my competition. That thing was built for me, but not so much for Eva. She starts getting flustered. Her team's trying to keep her going. Props to her that she did not let it. Well, she continued fighting all the way through. She didn't let it overwhelm her until after she solved it. She finished the puzzle. Their tribe was safe. She saved their tribe. And after she was through, she was starting to get very emotional during the comp, as anyone would. But after it was over, I think the emotions, the adrenaline, just overwhelmed her. She started having, I don't know if breakdown's the right word. She just started having, I think she calls it an episode as she explained it, but she started just getting overwhelmed. And I don't think it necessarily helped with everyone else surrounding her, trying to congratulate her and talk about how great she did. I have a feeling from her standpoint, it was probably just a whole lot of voices in her head, a whole lot of people touching her, and just, everyone has that time, whether you're on a scout, everyone has that time where you just kind of want to say, just give me a second. And she wasn't getting that, and she needed that special opportunity. Desiree Watts is saying, had me in tears, just a sweet moment. I agree. So, yeah, absolutely. So she's having a bit of a meltdown. The whole time she's been trying to finish this, you see Joe, who, remember, they used to be on the same tribe, and she had told him about her issue and that she maybe would need help sometimes. He is just giving her the stare. You can see the way he is just trying to project to her every possible thought that's in his head about focus, ignore everything else, just focus on getting this done. You're good. If there was ever a moment where you don't need ESP, you could just look at Joe and tell exactly what he was trying to do. Jeff tells him, says, hey, go on over if you want to, and talk to her. Jeff Probst ends up crying at the end of it, as was I. Yeah, Cash Wash is saying Jeff Probst was crying. Yeah, as was I and Sharon, and I think everyone who watched that. He goes over there, he grabs her. You can see how he's just trying to almost symbolically envelop her and close off everything, get her to just listen to his voice. At one point, she says, "Can you hold my hand?" He does that, and he managed to get her calm down and settle down and doing okay. And it was just an incredible moment And Jeff even called him out. Jeff even talked about it later, said, look, look, you're basically revealing to everyone else that's still on this island how tight the two of you all are from a gameplay standpoint. Are you worried about that? What's the issue with that? And I don't remember exactly what his comment was, but basically it was that this goes beyond the game. And I absolutely understand that 100%, especially being a little older, having kids. I think as parents, just seems, and not just parents, everyone I think was empathetic, but especially seeing someone that was hurting like that, and just needing just a hug and some assistance, and someone that they could put a shoulder on for saying, or have a shoulder to put their head on. And it was just him reaching out as a human to another human who needed something, rather than trying to play the game itself. And I'm probably going on way too long for this, but it really impacted me. I played the game of Big Brother, where it's all about cutthroat. You got to stab people in the back. You can lie and do whatever. You can't play with emotion because it's all about winning the game. And Survivor in a lot of ways is the same way. And yet it was almost just everyone taking a step back and saying, sometimes it's okay just to be human and to reach out to someone who absolutely needs your assistance. And that's what he did. I hope the rest of the tribe, the people on the island, don't ever hold it against the two of them that they are so close. I don't think they will, because I think anyone, especially once they're together, if they're still together with the tribe merge, which it looks like is coming up pretty quick, I don't think they're going to be able to hide that they're close to each other anyway. So with that being said, why not just go ahead and put it out in the open? If nothing else, I tell you what, from a viewing standpoint, I'm happy to give Joe the money right now. Just call the rest of the season. If he's still here at the end, it's such a beautiful moment. And so from that standpoint, and I think a lot of people may have more trust in Joe when he says perhaps that I'm here for more than just to win the money. I'm here to play the game the right way. I'm here to be honest, to be loyal, to be supportive. That may carry him further into the game. There may be people who are more willing to rely on what he tells them than otherwise would have been the case. So yeah, there's a possibility that kind of jeopardized his case a little bit, but at the same time, I think there's a lot of advantages to it as well. But in the end, it doesn't matter, because he wasn't thinking strategy at all. And it was cool. I think it was so sincere and so honest and so true. And so it really, really impacted me. I love that. I loved it. One of my favorite moments of Survivor all time, I got to say. All right. Mindful Reality is saying they replayed that episode Saturday. Oh, good. I've seen clips of it and I watch it every time. Chaz is saying, you would have landed the 4 balls in the hole in about 30 seconds. Yeah, I would have been so cocky. I would have been saying, yeah, Jeff, I don't need 30 seconds. Let me just finish this thing up. I would have finished first, and then I would have gotten so frustrated watching other people not necessarily being as successful at doing that. But yeah, I like to think that that would have been working to one of my strengths. Now, talking about winning and then maybe getting a little cocky and all that, still talking about Survivor, but moving a little earlier. Did y'all see the reward challenge? Remember, we have Mary and Saya, who didn't get along when they were on the tribe together. Cedric ended up basically saying, all right, y'all got to work together. Well, that's not really happening. Mary was on the tribe that won a reward challenge. She was gloating a little bit. She was talking about, oh, we won, and we even still have fruit back at camp. And now we've won all this fancy pastries and all kinds of stuff. She was very happy. I think I get it. That's the first thing that she'd won. She spent a lot of time at a camp not winning anything, going to tribal council, not having food or fire or anything. So yes, there's justification in her being as happy as she was. But at the same time, I think you have to be careful when you're playing these reality games that you don't come across as too gloating. I remember when I won my battle back and then HOH and all of that, I wanted to just go running through the whole house, screaming and hollering, yeah, look at me, I'm king of the world. I couldn't do that because you've got to watch out for the other people's feelings and all that. Instead, I just went to the storage room and did a little dancing and all that. I think Mary speaking up, as happy as she was, speaking up in front of everyone else, probably not the best thing for her. People will remember that going forward. Saya didn't do much better herself by then complaining about Mary and kind of drawing attention back to herself. You got to be careful of the other people's feelings on here. You can't act too upset when you lose. You can't act too gloating when you win. And I think they both had some issues with it. Yeah, Cedric wanted them to work together. It just doesn't seem like that's working for me at all. So yeah, a little tough. All right, but let's talk about a little more Survivor. But first of all, let me do this. I see Hunter Green saying, I'm on this. Oh, I'm on the spectrum, planning on being on confidence and winning Big Brother. Hunter, I'd love to see it. That's one of the cool things we have. We've seen people. I remember in Big Brother, we had Ian Terry, and I'm not sure exactly. There was talk when he did All Stars about, that he may be on the spectrum. We've had people on shows before who, everyone comes in with different strengths and weaknesses, and certainly, some of sensations and how you handle them all as part of it. And I think people like you, as Jeff Probst said, he said, right now there's someone out there watching who's seeing you do this. And yeah, we've seen that. We've seen people missing limbs, deaf, a lot of different folks playing these games, and they show they can compete. And that's what the world's all about, isn't it? All right, Carol Mosier. Carol, thank you for the support. I appreciate it so much. You're out here all the time. I absolutely appreciate it. I don't ever do this for money. I mean, I monetize. I can get a little bit here and there, enough to buy a coffee at the end of the day. But I do it out here because I just have fun talking reality TV. I appreciate the support from all of you. I absolutely do. Carol, thank you so much. Much appreciation, much love headed your way. All right, let's see. What else? Hunter is saying, excited for Sunday, heading to Dallas for you know what. All right, we'll talk about that in a sec. Let me finish one more thing on Survivor. Well, maybe we'll come back. But someone, Mark, you ask me every week, who are you cheering for? And now I actually have some people that I'm cheering for. Joe, as I said, maybe he moved right up to the front of the pack. He just seems like a solid guy, someone that I incredibly am looking forward to meeting at some point in the future, some charity reality TV event or something. Also, a huge fan of Mitch, who, he's an Aggie. He's from Texas. Another person, it's not just Eve out there this year. He had his stuttering and all of that, and he's overcome that. And just seems like an incredibly nice guy. So I'm cheering for Mitch as well. And we got one other person. Let me make sure I remember his name because I was going back and forth. David. Yeah, I just want to make sure because we're talking deal or no deal on him. Personal favorite, perhaps for Big Brother, David. And here's it's not that I didn't like David before. We saw a whole thing in this last episode about David. He didn't care about all the fancy pastries or cocktails or whatever else was available. He wanted a big old glass of milk. A man after my own heart. I tell you what, all the world is better when you got a glass of milk to wait for you at the end of the day to celebrate a hard fought day. When I used to travel overseas, I'd be gone for a few weeks, a month, whatever, out, who knows where, eating who knows what. Sharon always knew when I got back home, the only thing that I absolutely wanted as soon as I walked in the door was a big old glass of milk and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That was symbolically, that was my welcome home. Was milk and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Harkening back to my days of coloring with crayons or what, I don't know, but that always was my, not my highlight. Seeing my wife and kids was my highlight, but getting a chance just to sit down, relax it, and have milk and some peanut butter and jelly was huge. David talked about all he cared about was milk. When I was in the Big Brother house, I was always worried because you only had so much food. If we ran out of eggs, that was it until they restocked the storage room. And the quickest way to get booted out of that house is if you start eating up food and other people think that you're taking more than your fair share. Unless you're one or two people in my season who seem to take up way more than their fair share of food. Nevertheless, I was always careful about the milk because that took up a lot of space and I could drink a lot of it. But eventually in a diary room, I talked to one of the producers. I said, hey, can I get some more milk in here? We're starting to run a little bit low. And eventually one of them said, hey, Cliff, just so you know, because milk takes up so much room and because so many people are drinking it and cooking with it and all that, if y'all run out, let us know. We will bring in milk. It's not necessarily a delicacy like some of the other stuff. So if you run out, yeah, as long as it's within reason, let us know. We'll get some more in there. So from that point on, I drank a lot more milk. And you know, everything I did, everything I said while I was inside the Big Brother house, you know what perhaps was the most controversial? Well, picking Tommy versus Holly was pretty controversial. But beyond that, the most controversial thing I did was drinking milk while I ate my pizza. People had a meltdown. They were on Twitter just saying, he must be the devil incarnate. He is drinking milk and pizza. Who does that? That's horrible. That's terrible. I don't understand why. Milk is a dairy product. Pizza has cheese on it, which is a dairy product. They complement each other, right? That's what I thought. But no, I like my pizzas peppery. I like jalapenos on them, banana peppers, things like that. So a little bit of burn, a little bit of spice. Then you get that glass of milk to cool it all down. But yeah, you would have thought that I was out kicking baby kittens or something, the way people responded to milk and pizza. So I was surprised when I got out that people were so opinionated on that particular topic. But with all that being said, David, all he cared about was his glass of milk. Man of my own heart, he moves to the top of my list as well. That was a lot of fun. So, all right, there you go. Now, back to the conversation. Well, let's see. What if, well, Hunter, we'll come back to that in a second. Chaz is saying, will you watch Australia Survivor versus the World? Tony, Parvati, Sari, and David are on there. How hard is it going to be to watch? That's the question I've got. Sharon and I watched some Australian TV. We watched The Block and House Rules and some home design shows from the UK. I tried to watch Survivor one season, Survivor Australia. Russell Hantz was on there. And I tried to watch it, and I had a hard time finding it. I have a feeling it's a little bit easier nowadays. But yeah, I may check it out. We'll see. I mean, just because of the American folks who I know are on there, it could be fun. But there's a lot of folks from Survivor Australia or other countries, not just US, that I wonder if I need to watch those shows first before I go to Survivor Australia versus the World. It could be fun. I don't care what nation these are from. In fact, in some ways, as I say, it's kind of fun to watch these competition shows from other countries to see if the way they handle social relationships and things like that are different in other countries, other places around the world, as opposed to where they are here. And the beauty about Survivor Australia is hopefully I can understand what they're saying, right? So yeah, I may check it out, but I need to figure out where it's playing first. All right. Let's see, we're doing on time. Let's see. Miss Fire saying I sent you my audition tape. All right, I'll look for it, Miss Fire. I have not seen it, but I will certainly check it out. I'd love to see any of y'all who want some input. Let me know on that. Let's see what else we've got. Hunter is saying, all right, let's go back to this. Hunter's saying excited for Sunday, heading to Dallas for you know what. Yeah, here you go, guys. If you aren't already aware of it, Sunday, Dallas, Texas. Actually, it's a Colony, which is a little suburb north of Dallas. Big Brother 27 open casting call for the next season of Big Brother. First open casting call of the year. One of the first ones they've done in a while, in all honesty. So, yeah, if you're North Texas, Western Louisiana, Southwest Arkansas, Oklahoma, come to Dallas and try out at the Big Brother open casting. It's from Sunday, April 6th, from 11 in the morning till I think 6 in the evening. And I will say this, I think I may pop up there. I'm talked to Sharon about it. The plan is to head up there just because I got picked at an open casting call February 23rd, 2019, if I recall. I showed up, just walked in, talked to a bunch of people. Next thing you know, I'm inside the Big Brother house living the dream. So for me, I have a special spot in my heart for open casting as opposed to sending in videotapes. Now, some people do better at one than the other. It depends on how much you like interacting and responding on the fly to things and people saying stuff and things like that. Versus some people in front of a camera can tell stories and have more control over what they're saying. And sometimes, different people do it different ways. for me, I needed the interaction of other people, and I think there's other folks like that as well. So I'm looking forward to it. I believe, and just what I've heard, but I think there's going to be a couple of casting producers that are there. So it's not just showing up and you fill out a form and there's a video camera in front of you. You're actually, I think, as far as I know, I think that you're actually talking to people, to producers, to casting people who are going to decide who they want to talk to more and potentially get on the show. So that's pretty cool. It's actually incredible. I'm not going there in any official capacity. They haven't hired me or anything like that. I just want to go to cheer people on, to encourage them that let's go, and just see if I maybe meet some people who end up getting on the show. How cool would that be? When I did my open casting call, Haley Broker from the season before was there, and I got a chance to talk to her. And at the time, I was just one of 1,000 people there trying out and everything. But now that I was actually on it, it's like, all right, now it's time to pay it forward to some degree. I'm going to show up and encourage everyone, and I'll be the prep guy. I'll be the cheerleader before they go in and talk to the producers that say, come on, guys, get fired up, be excited about this thing. It's going to be fun. If for no other reason, just getting to show up and talk to a lot of people who are very passionate about Big Brother and reality TV. Fun way to spend an afternoon. So yeah, I'm planning to be there now. It's not set in stone or anything, but the plan is to pop over there. And so anyone who's up in the North Texas area or elsewhere, Sunday, I think it's at the Grotto at I can't remember the name of it now, but anyway, you can find it. Jesse Tannenbaum heads up casting for Big Brother. He's got it on his stories. I just put a post on it earlier today. You can go out to my Instagram and see a story post about it as well. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So Hunter, hey, come on over. I'm looking forward to saying hello and howdy and all of that. And I'll be the one in a cowboy hat. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. They're doing another casting call over. I think Ma had mentioned last week they're doing a casting call over in Virginia as well. So they're doing a few of those things. But this will be the first one in a while, and I'm so lucky. It's could have been Houston, would have been great, but I'll take the Dallas Fort Worth area. That'll work out as well. It's gonna be fun. It'll be a lot of fun. All right, Miss Fire saying, what was the name of the Voice Norway song? Best Part is by, and I think it's by, do you pronounce that her? I'm out of the social loop, I guess, but H-E-R, H period, E period, R period. I would say that her, but it's by her. And I think like Daniel Caesar, David Caesar, featuring David Caesar, or David Caesar featuring her, something like that. Anyway, it's called Best Part. I think on Spotify, if you say like Best Part Live or something, it'll pop up. It's two women singing the song. I don't remember what their names were. I really didn't care what their names were. I just fell in love with their voices. So yeah, it's cool. Watch it and y'all tell me what you think. This is incredible. All right, let's see. Karen Hummer. If you could create your own reality show, what would it be and where? Oh God. So probably we'll say the Hunger Games is out of the running because of course, who knows? Someday we may say, I can't believe they thought that was so horrible. I hope that's not ever the case. You know what? That's an interesting question. There used to be a reality show on Spike TV or True TV or reality TV. I don't know. There have been so many channels. It's called Solitary, where they put people in individual rooms. And when they did a competition, it truly wasn't against the other people because you didn't know when the other people quit. It was up to how long you could go because typically the first person to quit went home. The last person, I don't remember if they won an advantage or some money or there was something to being the last person, but you never knew. So picture the wall competition on Big Brother, but instead of you watching left and right saying, oh God, let them fall, I can just barely stay up here any longer. If instead of that, you're each in your own individual rooms hanging and you have no clue how everyone else is doing, because then it truly becomes a battle against yourself and a battle that in some ways, ultimately, you're going to fail because you're not going to stay up there forever. At some point, you're going to give up and say, I hope that was enough to get me where I am. So everyone fails, but then it's just who failed more than others. I'd love to have a reality show that was somehow focused on that a little bit, just because I like that it turned in truly a battle against yourself. Now, maybe there wasn't as much strategy. I think there was some because you picked other people that you would send gifts to and things based on the outcomes that you heard later. And there were some things like that. It was a cool show. Be a tough show, but yeah, I kind of like that. Yeah, but that's such an interesting question because the first thing I thought of when you said that, well, Hunger Games is the first thing, but we'll put that aside. I really don't want that. Not for real. Now, if you had Hunger Games, but it was just with, I don't know, stun guns or something, that may be kind of fun, or paintballs or something like that. But anyway, one of the first reality show type things I ever remember thinking about, a huge Stephen King fan. Speaking of, people were talking about Agatha Christie last week, and I missed the comments. Love me some Agatha Christie. I heard Poirot, and I just loved a lot of her books. I read a lot when I was younger. I need to get back on those. But I read a lot of Stephen King, The Shining, The Stand, some of my favorite books. But he also wrote a series of books under the name Richard Bachman. And one of them was called The Longest Walk. And a long introduction to the fact that this was a story about, if I remember, every state of the United States sent one kid to a race. Well, it wasn't a race, to a walk. They all started off walking, and whoever won the race was the person who was still walking. The last person walking, you would walk, if you drop below, I don't know, 3 miles an hour or something, you would get warned. If you got warned more than a certain number of times within a certain period of time, that's it. They take you out. And they don't take you out as in just pull you from the game. No, it's a little more violent than that. So people would do this. People would volunteer because if you won all kinds of money and fame and everything. Very Hunger Game-ish before that was a thing. But I remember reading that, and everyone started off so strong, thinking, oh, I'm going to win this. One person get blister, one person get cold, and by the end, there's just like one person left. The first reality game. It would be fun to have a reality game like that where it's just some kind of endurance, a whole bunch of people, yeah, and see who lasts the longest. I think about that a little bit more. All right, Ed saying, what is the next reality TV show I need to see? Is it Big Brother? Well, if you haven't seen Big Brother, Ed, I may suggest that one to you. Yeah, I think that's the case. But I do have another one that Sharon and I binged on over the weekend that I really want to suggest. If you haven't seen it, I think it's on Netflix. It's called $1 Million Secret. All right. It's in some ways, it's kind of a similar to Traders in that someone has a secret and the other people in this house, this castle, are trying to figure out who has the secret. But here's the difference. And I don't want to throw out any spoilers, so I won't. But one person just randomly has a briefcase with $1 million in it. Oh, that gets your attention. Yeah, get my attention. One person has $1 million, but they have to keep it a secret. If at the end of the competition, they still are in the house and they still have the briefcase, they win the money. But the problem is everyone else is trying to figure out who has it. And a lot like Traders, once a night or whatever, they show up and they banish one person. They pick one person who they think might have the money based on how they're behaving or things they're doing differently than before. And if it's you, then you're out and the money gets redistributed, I guess. And if not, then an innocent person goes home and everyone's like, oh, we sent the wrong person home. Sorry. But here's what's cool and what's a little different from Traders. There's actually clues given during the competition that, you know, one clue may be, hey, of all of y'all competed in this, half of y'all did this, half of y'all did this. The half of y'all that did this, the $1 million container is briefcases with one of those people. And only one or two people get to hear that. And so it's up to them. Do they tell the other people? Do they not? Do they lie about it? Do they not? So there's things like that that help you. And Brian Hotz there saying, I wouldn't want the money early on. There's been a lot of discussion. Do I want it? Do I not want it? The other thing is if you have that money, you're given challenges. You're told that, hey, if you can do this, then you'll get extra money or you'll get extra votes when it comes to banishing people. You'll get things that benefit your game if you do it. If you don't do it, there may be things that hurt your game as punishment as well. Do you remember Big Brother 8, Eric Stein, America's player? One of the things he had to do was a task where he had to, I think, do different challenges that America picked. He had to impersonate people. So he impersonated Evil Dick and different people. He had to get a certain number of people to give him a hug, things like that. And he would do that to win extra money. it's kind of like that. They're tasked with having to do different things or say different things and get away with it. But the problem is when you start doing some of this, is someone going to notice that suddenly your behavior maybe changed a little bit, and now they're going to call you out. It's very cool. The first 3 episodes have dropped. The next 3 episodes drop on Wednesday, I believe. So I don't know how it's going to end up. No one does yet. Well, except I guess whoever was on the show, but it's really cool. We really into $1 Million Secret. So there you go. That's my recommendation for new reality TV show now that Deal or No Deal Island is over. Watch it. Let me know what y'all think. Brian, I agree with you. You may not want the money early on because it certainly puts a target on your back. Even when no one else knows that it's you, it still puts a target on your back. All right. Colleen says, an all Big Brother cast for The Amazing Race would be really fun. Well, Colleen, you're getting your wish. Is The Amazing Race 38, where it's all Amazing Race people. I've actually heard a few spoilers. I'm not going to mention it on here because, first of all, I don't know if it's true. Second of all, I don't want to be spoiling that. But I've heard people who may have been eliminated a little early and things like that, and where they may be and some things like that. I won't get into any of that now. But yeah, all these Big Brother players, kind of cool. It's very cool. Very cool. I'm very curious to see how the thing ends up. We'll talk about that more as we get closer to the season. It's going to be pretty neat. All right. Marshall Davis is saying, going to the Virginia casting call. Well, good. I hope all of y'all who are close. Now, yeah, if you're in Portland, Oregon, I get it. You may not be able to make the trip. Hopefully they'll get some out that direction as well. But if you're close, go. Yeah, you never know. I mean, I didn't show up thinking I was going to get on the show. I just showed up thinking it's going to be fun to see other people who are trying out, see what they do, see what kind of crazy folks show up here. And then maybe I'll see someone who gets on the show. I actually took a picture in my casting call. I don't know if it's the same now because different casting people, but when I got cast, we got brought into a room, like 6 or 7 of us in a circle, and the producers just started asking us 1 or 2 questions per person, and you were just expected to talk. And so I remember saying, oh, I'm going to win because I'm a storyteller. And if I'm in the house 99 days, I'll have 100 stories to tell. And slept under bulletproof blankets and been involved, near plane crash. So I had my little spiel, but I was just there having fun and listening to other people talk and all that. When we got done, I said, hey guys, before y'all leave, can we just get a selfie? Just so if one of y'all make it on the show, I can say that I was right next to you and all that. So we took a selfie and I still got it on my phone. I'm going to post it on Twitter, Instagram, or something here later in the week. But I've got a picture of me just there with everyone else, just having fun, trying out, not realizing that it suddenly was going to get very, very serious. But here's the thing. If you're nearby, go hang out just for the sake of hanging out with a bunch of other like-minded folks who love reality TV. If nothing else, you can then tell your friends and family that, hey, I tried out for the show. And if you make it on, well, then, that's just, it's about the journey. It's not always about the destination. It's easy for me to say since my destination was inside the Big Brother house, but truly, it's all about having fun along the way, whether you're talking about life or trying out for a reality show, whatever. Don't be so focused on getting to the end that you don't enjoy it while you get there. And you'll have a lot of fun if you get to show up for one of these casting calls because you get all kinds of people. Now, here's a little hint for you, just for anyone who may show up at a casting call anywhere. When you show up, do not immediately get on your telephone, your cell phone, and start texting folks and all of that. Enjoy everyone around you. Get to know the people around you. Have fun. Smile, laugh, learn about other people. Take advantage of the moment. If you're just sitting there on your phone, someone may notice, and it may cost you at the end. But even if no one does, if you're so busy focused on that, then you can't get into the right attitude and the right mood that you need in order to get on the show itself. You need to get there and just say, hey, I'm all in, guys. Let's just have fun and put the phone away unless you want to take a selfie or some things like that. And it's all about the relationships with everyone else in there and having fun with it. I had so much fun. I was 53. And yet I was sitting there just shooting the bull with everyone that was there and just having the time of my life, getting to hang out with people and everything. So do it. Enjoy the process regardless of how it turns out. All right, Marshall Davis saying, would I have to pre-register or just show up? I think you just show up. I don't think there's any pre-registering. If it's anything like when I did it, you show up, they give you a number. And 573 or something. You've got a number that's kind of your spot in line. As you get a little bit closer, if I recall, you fill out just a very short form. What's your name? What's your age? Where are you from? Probably not more than half a dozen questions. Just a very basic background, contact information that you turn in at some point right before you talk to producers and all of that. If you move on beyond that, then when they reach out to you, they'll also, at least in my case, they reach out and said, all right, Cliff, we need you now to fill out the application for Big Brother. And please, it's a long form, so get started on it. This was like at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night on a Sunday, if I recall. And they wanted me to show up again on Monday to talk to them bright and early. So I'm sitting here filling out my Big Brother application at like 2 o'clock in the morning, getting this done and thinking that, okay, I'll just fill this out as a placeholder. And then if I actually made it on the show, hopefully I can go in and redo my application to be a little bit more, what I want. No, I never saw it again. And then that showed up when I was cast on the show. And so there's some questions on there that I just didn't even really who are your favorite Big Brother players and some things like that. And there's a few things I probably would put down a little differently if I knew it was going to be a publicly released kind of thing. I was just doing it just to be done with it. But you never know. You start playing the game of Big Brother the second you show up at that casting call. Don't think that you're not in the game at that point, no matter what. It's just you're competing against several thousand people instead of 15 other people. But no, I don't think you have to fill out anything. Just show up. They'll have pencils and everything else, and maybe bring an ID or something. I don't remember if they need that. Just come and be ready to talk and explain why you should be on that show. Figure out before you show up what makes you stand out from all the other people there. If there was one thing that you had to point out, I'm the sarcastic one. Oh, I'm the goofy one. I'm the quirky one. Whatever it may be, make sure that you know what that is in case someone asks you, and so that you can, focus on that just a little bit and show it off a little bit, because you're trying to stand out from a whole lot of other people that may not necessarily stand out from each other all the time. So that's my hint to y'all going in. All right, 7:55, so quick. All right, let's see. All right, Mark saying Houston in the Final Four, can they win it all? Well, at least a few of my brackets have Houston winning it all. I slam a jammy. I'd love to see Houston win it. They're right down the street from me. Houston would be fantastic as a Final Four team. So they beat Tennessee yesterday. So I think they could. I think they can do it. I'd love to do it. They're who I'm cheering for. We'll find out. All right, guys, I've got another recommendation for you before we shut it down. I know we're getting towards the end. Courtesy of Angie Hung, true friend. I've known Angie before I even started doing this show. Met her right after doing Survivor. Right after doing Big Brother. But Angie reached out to me and said, hey, Cliff, if you're looking for a new show, check out on Netflix a little 4-part miniseries called Adolescence. Oh my gosh, guys, if you haven't gotten a chance yet, go check out Adolescence. It's only 4 episodes, so it's quick. And it's like an hour, 45 minutes, something like that. I will tell you this. It's very intense. I don't want to give away any spoilers whatsoever. It's very intense. It's very emotional. Involves a crime and how community and police and family and all these different segments deal with it. And I'll just leave it at that. It's just incredible. Angie sent this thing to us last night, and I don't know, it was 9 or 10 o'clock. We were getting ready to call it a night, and we said, well, let's just watch an episode, see what it's like. We binged the whole thing. I a little sleepy first thing this morning. We binged the whole thing because it was so intense. Here, if you watch it, here's one thing to keep in mind, not to do with the plot, but the way it was filmed. First of all, incredible acting. Absolutely incredible. I'm amazed. It's very emotional. But the way they film it, it's a continuous shot from the very start to the very end of that episode. You don't have any cutaways. You may have the camera following one person, and as someone else comes by, the story changes a little bit because then the camera starts following that person. But they never cut away. They filmed this whole thing in a single shot. And I read up afterwards that every episode took about 2 weeks to film, and they would shoot this hour-long thing several times a day. And so out of that, at the end, I guess they picked the best one or something because there's no cuts. There's no, hey, let's do that again. Everyone just has their lines and does it. It's incredible. Karen Hummer saying, yes, I recommend it. I don't want to give away anything because we went in not really knowing anything at all. It was completely different from what I expected. But it was just amazing. The filming, the acting, the plot, the way it tugs at your emotions and your heartstrings, and makes me worried for the world. It makes me empathetic to people. I don't know. I just it was that, and even Joe and Survivor, my two big emotional moments of the whole thing. Yeah, Ed saying Adolescence. Yeah, it's Adolescence. It's on. Oh, it's not Netflix, right? I'm pretty sure it's Netflix. Yeah, it is. Look for it. It's it's British. It's located in London. Oh, and I don't know. It's London. I don't think it's London. Yorkshire somewhere. It's based over in the UK. But it's all right. No problem with the accents. There's actually a few slang words that I had to look up afterwards to figure out exactly what they meant. But yeah, it's kind of, I think it's maybe a BBC thing. I think Brad Pitt may be an executive producer. I saw something on that. It's one of the best things I've seen on TV in a long while. Is it like Boyhood? Not really. No, it's different than that. It's more as though you're almost watching a documentary or you're watching The Office. And The Office is a comedy, so that may be a bad comparison. But remember The Office, how they did it like it was a docudrama. They're still at the camera following people around and all. That's the feeling I got from Adolescence, is you're watching through the lens of someone as all these different events and characters interact with each other, and they're trying to resolve just a lot of stuff that's going on. It's not really a mystery. It's not a big whodunit type thing. It's not an Agatha Christie. At the end, it'll all be revealed. It's more about just emotions and people handling what life has thrown at them, good and bad, and we don't know. It will stick with you for a long time. This isn't some Bridget Jones that you'll laugh and 5 minutes later you forgot. No, this is intense. So be warned, be ready to get the tissues ready and be ready to spend some time thinking about it. But huge thumbs up from old Roger Ebert / Cliff Hogg, whatever. Yeah, I loved it. Absolutely incredible. So thank you, Angie. Much appreciation for that. All right, let's see. Is there anything else we talked about? We talked about the important stuff about pizza and milk. Now I think we pretty much talked about everything else. So we'll wrap it up now. It's 8:00. Tysman is saying, is there any way to email my my audition tape? I don't have a good way to do that. I tell you, the best way is, if nothing else, get a YouTube channel, post it out there, and send me a link through DM or something. And I'll go out there and take a look at it. Or find some hosting service or something, because otherwise, I don't know how it works if you try to send it through a DM or something. Just send me a link if you can. That's probably the easiest way to do it, because otherwise my emails and stuff get clogged up, and I already do a bad job of filtering out all the stuff I get away. There's too much of a risk that I wouldn't see it because it's mixed in with all these Nigerian kings that are wanting to give me money and things like that. So we'll see. All right, guys, with that, I'm going to shut it down. I think it's right at 8:01. Guys, y'all have a fantastic rest of the week. Survive your April Fool's Day. If you have a particular, remember, laugh at it, unless it's mean. And even then, just remember, revenge is sweetest when it's cold, or whatever they say. I just get back in later. But let me know what y'all's April Fool pranks are that you either did or that someone did to you. That's my favorite part, is hearing what other people did to prank each other. And I don't want to see Rick Astley out there or anything else. I'm sure I'll get some of those. But y'all have a fantastic week. Have a great April Fool's Day as well. Enjoy the start of April. I'll be back. Well, I'll be back next Monday. But before that, I'll probably be up in Dallas at a casting call on Sunday. So, yeah, if y'all get a chance, pop in there and say howdy to me. And if you have any questions on it, shoot me a DM as well. All right, with that being said, SKD143. Love my wife, love my kids, love reality TV. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing, turning on notification, hitting the old thumbs up. And Angie Hung, yet again, because it was so fantastic. Thank you for the recommendation on Adolescence. Y'all check out that. You check out $1 Million Secret, and check out The Best Part by her or by the Norwegian crooners themselves. And let me know what you think. Have a good one, guys. I'll see y'all next Sunday or Monday. Until then, SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. I'll see y'all later. Bye.